It looks good to me.
Me too.
Move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. All right, approved bills, accounts payable, dated September 19th. $342,415.49, EFTs at $97,730.46, for a total of $440,145.95.
I move to pay the bills.
I'll support the motion. I need a couple of minutes to look them over. So I get a question I have. The big bill at Corrigan, are some of those the second go round with applications?
Yes.
Bob, is the Dalton still now, spring?
I believe so.
I'm not sure, I know Fayette was the only one that had the third round.
No, Dalton's is the brush fire.
Oh. Yes, they're done. I saw the bill.
So I see here where we spent some money for sealing up the bats.
Yep.
Is that all completed at this point?
Not complete yet. They've got to finish, they're gonna do all four garages and then clean inside all four garages to get rid of the bat waste.
That was, what was in there was for sealing.
That was for sealing like the outside,
Okay.
to try to keep the bats out.
Okay.
We still have the other, I think the other two to do and the clean the draw floor.
Okay.
So we're hoping to have that all done prior to the end of October for everything is done.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
This is the one that got most everything. I already got my chicken scratches, but thank you.
I saw the draft on it.
That one's not. I think, no, you
I think that's finished too.
Payroll dated September 26th for $139,924.64.
I move to pay the payroll.
Support.
Any discussion? If not, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion. You're ahead of me. I never thought I'd miss Kathy, but it'd be easier if she was here to pass it.
Yeah. Pass it around.
Don't tell her I said.
You didn't mean that.
On YouTube.
You can tell her if you want to.
You get an extension for your arm.
Exactly. Alright. Treasurer's report.
Beginning cash and investment balance is $2,315,769.39. Total receipts was $289,536.20. Total bills and payroll was $580,070.59. Bonds and escrow is $10,250. CD reserved for 2 trucks is $656,873. Ending available fund balance is $1,358,112. Outstanding accounts payable is $225,566.17.
Any questions?
We probably have a fair amount of accounts receivables, don't we? With some
That we're
townships.
waiting on,
Yeah.
but we don't have that.
No other questions, stand as presented, thank you. Public comment. Sure.
Kelly Rollins from Reading Township. I was in 2 months ago to talk about the speed limits on Bankers Road, between South Allen and Hemlock Road. And basically, I was told that the commission really had nothing to do with it, it was the state police to get started. So, Bob, I got your number, you said you'd help me with this. I called you 3 times, I never got a call back. I left you my phone number, I never got a call back. So, I finally got a hold of the state police. I actually got a response from Lieutenant Brandon Davis this morning. And that's what motivated me to come in, if I may, if I can read this to you.
Sure.
Thank you for your interest in traffic safety. For MSP to get involved, the request must originate from the Hillsdale County Road Commission and not from a private citizen, me. Typically, the process starts with a citizen inquiry at a local township meeting. The township discusses the matter with the County Road Commission and they determine if they want us to sign a resolution. The resolution indicates the township will abide by the study findings regardless of what the outcomes are, which you mentioned last time that they could raise them lower on whatever. I don't think this stretch is road, I don't think they can raise it. So, so they have to abide by that. Once the resolution is signed, the road commission provides MSP a copy of the resolution and a formal study is initiated. So, where do I go from here? I mean, since I was here 2 months ago, the stretch of road that I'm talking about, there's been a death on that section of road. Now, I don't know if the speed limit would have made a difference in this, it probably wouldn't have, but it's a dangerous stretch of road. Where Long Lake comes into Bankers Road, coming from the east, it's blind, you can't see anything coming out. So I've had cars on my tail, I can't tell you how many times, because they're coming over that hill at 55 miles an hour, and I'm pulling out, and it's the same with everybody else that's there. There's been a lot of accidents there. And it's not much better coming the other direction. So I'd like to at least find out if you guys are interested in trying to get some more safety in that section of road.
We'd be interested in doing the study
We'll get hold of the township and make sure they're
on board.
on board with it. Cause we have run into issues in the past where a resident has come and asked for something and then if the township's not on board with it, they get upset. So we'll get with the township, and if that's the way we need to go, then we can.
I mean, I'm just looking at it from a safety standpoint. I mean, I'm there all the time, and I am just tired of having vehicles right on my tail. I've seen vehicles go in the ditch right there because they can't stop in time. I mean, it is a legitimate safety thing. I mean, I'm not just here to bitch about this. So that's why I'm here, is just find out what we can do. So what steps do I need to do? I mean, Bob, do I need to give you my phone number and I don't know. What do I need to do?
I'll take it just so that I got it. I don't know if I've gotten messages from
Yeah,
you.
I left you 3. First 2 times I just clicked on 7 to go into your voicemail. And the third time I actually talked to whoever answers the phone here and said, please put me into Bob's voicemail. So.
All right, well, I apologize for that, but yes, I'll take your number and.
It's
Go ahead.
419
And make sure Bob listens to this.
215 3814. It's Kelly Rollins, Rollins.
So I have a question, Kelly.
Yes.
So, so this is the area of Bankers where it intersects with Long Lake Road, and then how far east of there are we talking? Are we talking clear to South Allen Road?
Well, even driving in on that this morning, that's probably, the state is probably not gonna do anything with that, but certainly within a couple hundred yards of Long Lake Road, the speed limit should be dropped. Just so cars are not coming over that ridge doing 55 or more, because the speed limit to 45 doesn't change until 100 feet past Long Lake Road, which is crazy.
I travel that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you said between South Allen and Hemlock.
Yeah.
Is it a narrower specific?
Well, Hemlock would be on the west boundary, and then the road opens up and it's pretty straight there, but going from Hemlock to, like, let's say Long Lake Road, there's multiple driveways, there's multiple roads, there's 2 retail establishments where the traffic is, vehicles are pulling out, so I would say certainly Hemlock Road on the west, and maybe a couple hundred yards to the east of Long Lake Road, so cars are already slowing down prior to going over the ridge, over the hill.
Well, and you have the curves too.
Oh, yeah.
So my suggestion to you would be get with the Reading Township Supervisor and have them take some action as well.
I'll probably put a call into that person today. Yeah.
And I
So I'll
think,
go from my side, you go from your side, and maybe we can head them off at the
I'm
pass.
surprised Alan's not here.
I know.
Normally it's here, I was expecting to be here.
Usually they're recording.
well, with the fair this week, I know he's doing some volunteer work at the fair, so that's probably why he's not here. But I would think that he would be very open to what you're asking.
Okay. All right, I'll get on the phone with them.
Thank you.
All right, no, thank you for listening, I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Tell me.
Have a great day.
At our last Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday, Hillsdale Township Trustee Rick Emery, in public comment, talked about the seal coating that did not adhere last year that was going to be redone. On the portion that was chip and sealed, he said that the chip part, there's not much chip, and that it's very slippery because there's no chip in that section of road. And he would like to see if there can be something done to improve, I think it's on Bacon Road.
It's actually,
We did, baby.
Bacon got it.
Bacon's totally done, that was,
Fun.
Bun.
Bun, okay, there was a section of road that he was very concerned and passionate about. And so he did come to the Board of Commissioners meeting, and I explained that I would hope to see him this morning, but he's not here, so I would like to make a statement, for him today. Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I have just something I
Yeah.
wanna tell everybody. This spot on the left side of my head, I'm going through some treatment for skin cancer. So, I didn't get in trouble, my wife hauled off and whopped me.
I was wondering about that.
So it's a 6-week treatment. She applies a cream morning and evening to it. And so I had about 4 different choices and I chose to go this route.
All right, thank you. You're up, Bob.
We'll address kind of what you talked about, Doug. Bun Road is one of the roads that we did last year. We did have the emulsion supplier come out and we drove all the roads. They agreed to pay for us to redo Bacon Road, which was a total failure. I mean, there's absolutely no stone left. All the other roads, they elected, and they said that the stone, for the most part, is still there, and so they weren't gonna look at redoing those, but they would pay for us to refog at a higher rate to try to help, seal it in from the top. Which is what we've done. We actually went and did that road the other day, I think, within the last day or two, I think, actually. So that is refogged and that'll get repainted. As far as them calling it slippery, I'm not sure where they're getting that because the skid coefficient really doesn't change a whole lot just because it's fogged. Actually, if anything, it might be a little bit better because it gives something to grip to. So that's originally, and I think what he was most upset about, and I understand, is originally when I talked to the sales rep, he was kind of on board with us redoing all of them. Okay, and when he elevated his powers to be their regional reps, they came down and looked at them and elected to say, no, we'll do this one road and we'll refog all the rest of them. So that's actually what we're in the middle of doing right now is refogging those. We're done with all of this year's chip seal that we are new that we're paying for, and we've now are converted over to we're doing all the reseals of all the roads from last year. So that's.
So if I get more questions, can I send them to you?
Sure.
So you can explain it better.
I sure can.
Thank you.
All right, so that part of it. So I'm going to go on to some of the engineering kind of stuff. We're doing the pavement markings right now. So they've moved into what they call the special markings, which are all the like railroad crossings, the schools, the stop bars, all that kind of stuff is what they're painting right now. They already painted a lot of the long lines earlier this year. Now they're doing these, and when we're done with all the fog and all of our work, then they'll come in and paint the things that we worked on this year so that gets repainted. They'll do that here about the next month, I guess, when we're done with all of our stuff. Let's see. Territorial Road east of Bird Lake culvert. We revised the drawings and we're working on getting that permit completed, and there's kind of more going with that, but once that permit's in, that'll let us move forward with that one. The Elm Road Bridge, I think last meeting you approved the Wolverine Engineers to be the surveying that did the additional shots. So we did contact them, they're gonna do that. They plan on doing the survey next week, and once those additional points are done, we'll transfer that data to the consultant that does the hydraulic study, and that should give us the hydraulics that Eagle is looking for, and then we can press forward with that one. So far, we still haven't seen anything that's caused us concern that doesn't think will go as planned, but as well as I know you can't plan on that. So.
Did Sabina require the extra hydraulics?
Well, in a roundabout way, before she can get the hydraulics to work the way it needs to for Eagle, we need those extra shots. What we had originally wasn't enough to, I don't know, meet the criteria or meet the requirements from Eagle. And so she needs farther downstream shots to make the hydraulics work, hopefully. And so, but once we get those shots, everybody's kind of feeling that
We're good.
it'll go as planned, but I'm not gonna guarantee that. The 2024 safety projects, they plan on coming back in a couple weeks to complete Territorial Road and Bankers. They have until November 15th to complete that. That's the center line rumble strips and then the center or the edge line recessed wet reflective paint. So they're working on that. They plan on coming back to finish that up. The markings. We have set up a rural task force meeting for October 1st at 1. That's for the Hillsdale County, you know, like all the player reading has a member of that, and so we're gonna sit and hash out the RTF stuff for that. And then we've also got the annual traffic summit with MDOT that we go do at the City Hall, I guess, again, 10 a.m. on October 29th, I believe.
We don't do that at City Hall, do we? Don't do that at Park?
No, last year I think we did it at City Hall, and I
We
think
did.
that they liked that. I think that's,
It wasn't too bad, but the city hall.
we did it here one year, the first year I was here, and then we did it at City Hall last year, and I think they're gonna try to do it at City Hall again.
Well, there were a lot more people there last year, and it would have never worked here.
Yeah. It'd been a little
Yeah,
crowded.
there was a lot of people there, I was surprised.
So that again is October the 29th.
At 10 a.m. And as that gets closer, I'll make sure that's on everybody's radar.
Let's go back to the rural task force.
Okay.
Where is that meeting gonna be on October 1 and what time?
That is gonna be here at 1 p.m.
Is it here or at Old Summary? We have to confirm the
I
place.
think Heather's setting that up right now. I'll make sure you know, but
We've always had it.
I don't think it's gonna be a lot of people, so, cause that's not
It's not very.
the region, it's the
Usually
county.
just players.
Just the locals.
Yeah. Let's see. As far as just the guys out there working, the Hog Creek Bridge is actually going really good. They're, I believe, setting the deck today. They got all the piles driven. We had an issue with water because some of the boards that go on the piles were underwater. So we had to try to de-water everything. So they were in there working, slopping around, and it took a little bit of work, but they got it done. The crew's done good. They're setting the decks today. All the piles are done. Once that's all done and then backfilled and completed, then we'll set up a time to pave it. We're figuring it's going to take 30 tons of asphalt, I believe, to pave the bridge and a little bit of approach. So I basically asked them to just get a full flow boy of 50 tons, and that'll just make the approaches a little bit longer on each side, which I think will help. But and at that point, we can open it up.
I think that shot it could be done a week from today or maybe longer, take a little longer than that. I know it depends on weather.
Weather's definitely, but it very well could. Yeah.
So you're getting
Everything's gone good. It's knock on wood. They've done really good. They've got everything put together. You know, it's the same basic crew that we used on Camden Road, so they're very familiar. They like doing it.
That helps.
They've done a good job. I can't complain a bit. You know, so.
Good.
To give you an exact date, but it should be very close to that.
I understand.
Let's see. We're finishing up, hopefully maybe today we'll finish up the gravel haul on Sterling Road. So then all it'll take is the graders to shape it up and the rollers to roll it again. And we'll hopefully be done with Sterling Road. There's 2.5 miles of Sterling Road that'll be totally done. Our seal coat is complete for the year. The fog's complete, other than the refogging of the roads from last year. They're starting that today. And all that fog will be provided by Asphalt Materials at no charge. We did a little bit of paving, not with the pavers, just had to go get some hot mix from the plant to help with the cross tube on State Road. We put in a tube earlier and it's settled, and so now we've gone in and put some hot mix in there to fill that in. Next year when we get the paver out, they'll put a small wedge over the top of that to help it again, and it'll be good. And then they also put hot mix around one of the monuments. The county surveyor, we go around and help with the monuments. And so that was dug out, a new monument was put in. It's usually like a 2x2 or 3x3 square. And then we asked them, so they did one on Jerome Road, I think, to get that one done. Let's see. Just as a heads up, I'm going to be bringing a few things to you within the next, before the next meeting, so that you'll have it and can look at it and discuss it and look it over for approval on the following meeting. But it's all going to be the updated permit fee schedule, which I talked to you a little bit before. The CRA put out a thing that they would like everybody to be as close to that. They'd like you to match it, but as close to that as possible. And so what I've done is I've gone through and matched our permit schedule with what they're asking for. There's a little bit of give and take there on some of them, but I'll be submitting that to you for a new permit fee, and that takes a public hearing. So we'll have to advertise and do it for a public hearing, and we're hoping to do it on October 24th. We'll also need a public hearing for the proposed 2025 budget, and so I'm going to supply that also with our updated proposed and amended 24 and proposed 25, but the amended 24 doesn't need the public hearing, or I just need your approval. The proposed 25 needs a public hearing, and again, we'd like to do that just back to back with the other one on the 24th, and we can do all that.
Well, my understanding of the Budget Act is that you have to adopt a tentative budget so that you can notify the public that that tentative budget is available for the public to review before you can hold the public hearing. And you have to, that notice has to go in the paper at least 6 days before the public hearing.
So my plan is, and I don't know if it works with this or not, but my plan is next meeting to give you the proposed.
Okay.
So you guys can adopt that or whatever, and then do the public hearing on the next.
Okay, so it'll be the
board meeting.
You're proposing like the last meeting in October. Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
The 25th would be the last.
The 24th.
It's the 24th.
Yeah.
My birthday is
Oh,
on the
I'm seeing
25th.
Friday, sorry.
So yeah, that's the plan, is to give you the proposed next meeting, which would be the 12th. No. The 10th. So give you the proposed on the 10th and ask for the public hearing to be on the 24th. And then we'll put the posting and everything out. And
that will work.
Follow protocol?
Yep.
All right. I'm also going to have an updated cost sharing policy for the projects that we do. That will take, I think, some significant discussion on some of the things that I would like to see change. But I can bring that up. I can send that to you anytime. I'm finishing up right now, but I want to be able to discuss it with you and see where you want to go with adjusting the cost share, what we do, how we do it, when we do it, kind of thing. But I want to get that done so then we can discuss when we want to have our township meetings. So we get the cost share, that way everybody knows that's what it's gonna be at that point. And then set up the public meetings. What is your feelings on doing that? I wanna say it was we said the first week of January, first week or second week of January, to get those,
Full week.
The township
the
meeting?
township
I
meetings.
thought we was gonna do them in December.
Yeah, you talked at
Well,
one point about trying to do it in
I think
December.
it's gonna be tight. Cause I'm not sure about the last meeting in December, it's actually the 26th. Are you gonna
That usually don't happen.
have that? The meeting before that, I won't be here, no, I will.
What was that last meeting?
What's that?
It was the 26th one that you weren't gonna be here.
Let's see here. So the 12th is December. Well, I guess it doesn't matter when the meetings are. We need to get the cost share policy set. We gotta have time to do up all the maps and suggestions for the townships and everything. So again, that would have to be if we did it in December, the first week or 2 weeks of December.
What about this week?
I will be gone
You're
as
gonna
of
be
the
gone.
17th.
Okay.
We can have the meeting anyways, you probably wouldn't mess it with.
Yeah, you can.
I think it'd be best if
You
Bob
want
was
me?
here.
We could do it by closed meeting, you know,
I'm sure you could.
we could put you on the.
So I
TV.
mean, if you wanna try to do it the first week of December, the second week I think is okay too, for me.
Well, doesn't it normally take 3 days? Don't we
Yeah.
normally set aside 3
Yeah,
days?
3 days.
We could do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, the only problem we would have there is we have a lot of townships who have meetings the second week of December.
Mhm.
So you'd have to do it the first week.
I think January is fine.
Do it early.
I think we ought to do it early, because there's a lot of townships that was complaining that they didn't have the information in time for their budget meetings.
Well, if we could do it in,
We did it late January, early February in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah, early January, I think we'd be okay. And I've had some townships ask for later hours, because a lot of them still work. Like,
And would you wanna look at going 4 shorter days instead of 3 longer days, or?
it wouldn't matter.
I can do what works for you guys, it's really what works for you and what works for the township boards, you know, so.
I don't know if you can see this here. This is January. So if we did this week in January, well, we are scheduled to meet on the 9th.
So that's just
But
a
that's in the
super
morning.
long day for you guys. Like you'll be here in the morning and then come back.
And, okay, so the 8th is the second Wednesday. I have 2 townships who meet that evening, but then they could come earlier in the week, you know, and stay away from that Wednesday.
But then you wouldn't be at their meeting either, but.
I wouldn't. But if they were here, you know, earlier in the week, that would probably suffice anyway.
I mean, I'd be okay with the 6th, 7th, 8th, and maybe it's left over on the 9th or something if you need, but that's totally up to you guys, that's why I'm bringing it to you, to where we kind of.
Makes me no difference.
Is that, what do you think, Bob?
There, so we're not getting into the second week, because that's when most of the township meetings.
It'd
Right,
be the first full week, which is the second week in January.
and a lot of them that meet on Monday night, they won't meet till the 13th. But we do
Be
have,
the same with Tuesday, too, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Same on
Tuesday
Tuesday
too.
also.
If they meet on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you could run into,
Right,
Hillsdale Township and Cambria are both on
Allen's
Tuesday
the
night.
second.
the only one that, and then I think Wright meets on Thursday.
They meet the second Thursday, so does Woodbridge now. And Camden and Amboy meet on the second Wednesdays.
I think
So here again, they could, they know this in advance, they can schedule to come in here Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
Or early enough in the day on Wednesday that it's not gonna be a conflict. Let's try that.
We can shoot for it.
second week of January,
Well, it's
Well, it'd be
the
the first
first
full
full
week,
week.
first full week.
the week of the 6th.
Okay.
And so I can work with Heather, we do have all new Pazer ratings for all roads except for gravels. And we do wanna get out there and rate them too, but it's not as critical. So they'll all have all new info as to where the road's set as far as Pazer ratings, and, hoping to work with Kevin and the foreman to give them maybe some more options of, hey, we think you ought to look at paver patching and chip seal on this road. We're gonna try to stay away from a lot of the ditching projects, and try to stay with some chip seal and paver patching, and hopefully we can get some deberming done too. The deberm can go quick. The ditching, as you've seen on Sterling, it takes forever and it takes a lot of people. It takes us away from everything else.
Yeah.
So my thing to them is gonna be this year, if we can do a project to deberm and re-gravel a road, great, we'll deberm. We'll cut a ditch anywhere we need to get water to flow, but if there's even an existing ditch, swale, whatever that keeps the water going, we're gonna leave it. And at some point, we'll have to get back into full ditching, but I just don't know when that's gonna happen. If we get water off the road with a berm, get it into existing ditches, put some new gravel on the roads, we can fix a lot of them that way, and then work on the ditching, maybe even contract it at that point, but I don't know. But,
So what about the roads that don't have any ditch?
that's just gonna be, that has like the sharp hills and stuff, that'll be a lot of deberming, but it'll be get the water over as far as you can, and
Let it soak away.
it'll still run down those hills, that's usually where it's at, like the steep hills like that.
Yeah.
It'll get it over there and get it off as soon as you can, and that's the best we can do for right now. Alright, well, I think, unless you have questions, that's all I've got for right now.
So I have a question. So, Territorial Road with the new bridges got opened up.
Mhm.
And I know there was a section of guardrail that I think was left undone. Have they come back, has the contractor come back and finished that? It'd be on the north side of the east bridge. Because I was down there the Friday that they opened the road. And there were orange and white pylons from where the guardrail ended up almost to the top of the hill. And I had a conversation with Heather earlier in the week that she felt too like there needed to be more guardrail there, but that was something that could be done after the bridge got opened. They could, close one lane of the road while they were working on it.
I'm not sure.
But to me, it needs to have another stretch of guardrail there.
All right, I will check on that.
And the other thing I would say to all of you, if you've not been down there and seen, those two new bridges, I would recommend that you do that.
They're pretty nice.
They
Like it
are
came out.
really nice.
Well,
had a couple people comment to me, why did they have to make them so wide? Well, my wife was through there before the bridges got closed a year ago, and there was a guy in front of her with a big piece of tillage equipment, and he just crawled through those bridges because he almost didn't make it, is what I'm saying.
Things are bigger.
And, you know, what are they gonna be in another 30 or 40 years?
Well, not double.
Well, I mean, those bridges are gonna be there long past any of our time.
Now, we're gonna go to, like the Jetsons with the aircraft that fly.
We were so sorry to be there.
Yeah. I do have a comment. Commissioner Wiley called me, and Lifeways is gonna build on the corner of Beck and, Industrial Drive. And they was having problems getting a permit. I don't know if you heard about it. Well,
I heard
anyway,
about through the rumor mill this morning.
okay, so anyway, I called Chris, which is our rep here, and he said, I know about it, but I don't know about it. So he said, but Doug Jordan does, and I've known Doug for years, so I called Doug. And Doug says, yes, we do know about it. And he says, there's about 4 of us working on it. And we had a long discussion, and Beck Road is a state highway.
Mhm.
It is.
Used to be on 99.
That is the problem.
It's still a state highway.
It's still a state highway. And he said, my suggestion is, this is before I called Mark back, is, it's gonna take a long time if they wanna curbing to Beck Road. And we discussed a long time. He said, not very quick. And he said, it'd be a lot quicker if, say, Hillsdale would accept it, or we would accept it. And I said, chances of that are 0 to none. He said, yeah, we already know that. So anyway, I guess Doug, Mark said there's already 2 drives going out on the industrial drive.
I have not seen the drawing.
He said on the drawing there is 2, and Doug was being upfront that this is a long process because of so many driveways being on that road, and they have a lot of criteria to have to go through. And he said, if any way possible, they could put both drives onto Industrial Drive. He said, that's gonna eliminate a lot of problems for both of us. And so Mark was gonna go back and, he's got the drawings, I have not seen the drawings. But the only reason for the one on Beck Road was to come to the front of the building. And he was kind of suggesting if they just made the first drive wider to where you would come right to the front of the building and not even use Beck Road. So that's where we left it.
And Mark knows this.
And Mark knows that, yes.
You mean coming off industrial? instead of
Yes,
Beck Road.
both drives would be on industrial.
So at some point in the future though, if it takes a long time, they do the 2 drives on industrial first, and then maybe forward plan another drive on the back.
He didn't come out and say you will not get a permit on that
Oh,
because of the criteria that's there.
but he said it's not gonna happen.
He said, I'm just gonna say up front, maybe you should try to get both of them on industrial drive. So I relayed that to Mark, and Mark relayed that to the
I think what they
architect.
were trying to do was improve traffic flow,
Mhm.
because that corner is gonna be ridiculous. It's already ridiculous.
Yeah,
And
we're
they're
done.
trying to alleviate how that all comes together.
And so that's where it was left, and Mark was gonna run with it.
I guess I can't picture what we're talking about. What buildings are in that area? Where are we?
Right on, they're right where, industrial drive comes down, and Beck Road from Scrivens comes to it, right there, in that corner.
There's an 8-acre parcel, 2 parcels, that Lifeways is gonna build a 20,000 square foot building on. That's the plan.
Yeah, right near, gate or the bus garage,
Pardon?
isn't that near the bus garage of,
The Hillsdale Travel Center Hillsdale, there used to be a little sporting goods,
Yeah.
travel, what do they call it?
I
Yeah.
can't remember, it was a small, they had fishing equipment there.
Yeah, it's across the street from the bank. The bank is right on the corner.
yeah,
Lifeways is gonna be on the other corner.
got,
And what's gonna happen is with all the extra traffic, I don't know how they're gonna regulate where Industrial Drive and M99 meet. I mean, that's gonna be another catastrophe.
right here,
So this is where Myers is at now, actually.
Yep,
And so it'd be,
there's where the roller rink,
yep,
and be right here on this corner.
so if you got
Okay.
that way, that's back, that belongs to the
Opposite
state. You got
road
that way,
rink,
that's
right.
ours.
Yes,
And
Yeah,
Cause that used to be the sporting goods store right there.
well, and that place is, I mean, Scrivens now owns that piece of property.
This is where Lifeway's is gonna be built,
Okay.
supposedly in there, so they can
because
put,
of those,
if you
that,
got like
that,
2
all
acres,
those
they can put
driveways.
2 driveways in off of Industrial Drive.
they got, I guess they already got designed for 2 driveways, the way Mark talked. The third one was gonna go out onto the back road.
But that's amazing that you just can't build a driveway out on the back road.
Well,
Well,
you can if you wanna wait
If you
2
wanna
or 3
wait.
years.
Yeah, I know.
Who knows how long?
It takes an act of
Cause it's got, once they, I guess,
There's MDOT.
Doug has seen
Yeah, I agree with you
the
there.
design,
They can move fast if they want to, though.
Georgia, with the state, he's seen the design, their engineers have seen the design, but he said that's a long process to get that done. And I guess until Mark called me, I didn't realize that was a state highway, Mark thought it was county. And so we got to checking, and it was not certified in the county,
That was
so it had to be
Turn
the
back.
city or the state. And so it come out to the state, and once you figured out it was a state highway, then we got other problems. So that's where it's at, and Doug was gonna run with it,
Cause that used to be
Or-
M99,
Mark was.
many years ago.
So I just wanted to let you know in case you heard rumors. Other than that, all right.
I've got a couple things that I forgot.
No, okay.
Just so you know, I'm looking, we have, I told you, I think 2 meetings ago, we got an issue with our sign truck.
Right.
So I think that's really, the boom is no longer
Boomable.
Usable.
boomable. So I think what we're looking to try to do is take that boom off of there, convert it to a truck that can pull one of our little trailers and haul the skid steer and put all the skid steer attachments and stuff on it, so that can go as like a unit. So we can still use the truck. The truck's fine, it's just the boom is bad, which means we gotta get a new truck. There's a couple available in the local area, even the place that we had them look at the truck to begin with. They've got one that's about 4 to 5 years old that's in the 60 or less range. I think we need to look at one of those. I've got Joe looking into getting 4 or 5 comparables so that we can kind of see, but we don't have a sign capability right now. And so we've had Jackson come down with their sign truck last week, and actually no, this week, and put up some signs for us. And our guys went around with them with the signs, but they had to drive the post and everything. So we gotta have something to, whether we rent one or buy. I think a good used one will work for us, but we're looking in it's probably gonna be in the 40 to 60 range, depending on what we get, how old we want to get, that kind of thing.
What would a brand new one cost and to do the job?
To do all that, you're probably about 120.
And we bought that truck new, and that's lasted a lot of years. So I'm not so sure we shouldn't, if we could possibly swing it,
Well, if we can
buy a
find,
new one.
if we could find a good user, and no good user would last.
Well, this
long
is
time,
like a
too.
2019. It's got 30,000 miles on it.
Now, that would be
Yeah.
considerable.
I think you better buy that.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of money?
That one's listed for 60 right now, but I think we can talk to them. But
I would say,
we would have to have them, because they work on them too. We'd have to have them take our post driver
Right.
and our front post puller that's on the front bumper off of our truck, put it on that truck, because I think they'll all work. So that's an option, but that's the best one we found so far. But we're still looking.
Hopefully it
And
don't
I
go
don't think I'd
away.
look too long if you
Right.
get one that new.
yeah, with only 40,000 miles on it.
all right, well, I would need
You need a motion?
I need where it is, I need the dollar amount, I need,
You're pretty needy.
what?
You're pretty needy.
I am.
So I guess I would need authorization to purchase that, cause it goes over my purchase
I
authority.
move that we grant authorization to the manager to purchase a used boom truck. Like you say, or science truck.
I would still like to get the other comparables to make sure there's not something else out there.
Sure.
Yeah, if we could,
But in that range.
That
Cause
should
in
be
my
part of my
motion,
motion.
I need to know where we're getting it.
Well, that's from Custom One Truck, the same place we had ours worked on. Right now it's listed for 60, I'm pretty sure we can talk them down a little bit.
Sure.
Or at least you have to throw in the.
It's a 2019
put the
Ford
equipment on it.
F550, is the chassis. It's got a diesel engine.
I'd support that motion.
anything else you need there, needy?
I'll let you know next board meeting.
Any more discussion?
I think, we should spend a lot of time looking if we can get it done for that kind of a price,
I will
because
keep that in
And I think,
good used trucks are hard to find.
I think 550 is the way to go, rather than the one we got.
then the big
Yep,
semi-style.
Yep.
We don't put up the big MDOT signs, we put up smaller signs, and so if we had a interstate where we're
Right.
putting up the big 4x4, 6x6 posts and stuff like that, I'd say yes, we need the bigger boom, but I could be.
So, absolutely, like a dollar amount, not to exceed.
I would say not to exceed.
Let's say do 60,
Not to exceed.
60 give you enough room.
60 will give us enough room, I think, for the truck. I don't know if they'll charge us to change the equipment over, but that would be more of a maintenance.
You would throw that in on the deal. Say we'll buy it.
Well, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So,
just tell them we only allowed you that much.
all right, I've done that before.
Then we're
They
not
come in
asking,
at $59,999.
And we're not asking them to take a piece of junk in on as a trade either.
No,
Yes.
we'll keep that.
All right.
The other thing is, also looking at, and it's on, I believe it's the Sheridan auction site, is a hydro seeder. I think we don't do well at erosion control here, where we can, and we do digging and ditching and all this around. If it's in somebody's yard, we seed it and try to
Yeah.
do as well as we can. But really, anywhere we disturb ground, we should be doing something for erosion control. And it's pretty much exactly the same thing that Jackson has. You mix your own. It can get towed around with a 550. It's a trailer. You can tow it around with a 550, and you dig somewhere and you disturb the ground and you get it ready. You spray it. It sprays like the
Foam and stuff.
well, that's kind of not
Yeah.
foam. It's like a
Green
Mulch.
stuff.
Grit.
mulch.
Yeah.
That's got mulch, seed, and fertilizer all in one, and just spray it and move on down the road. Right now it's on the bid site, it's still got like 10 days left, it's like at 500 some bucks. I know it'll go significantly higher, but I would like to keep that in mind, and depending on how high it goes, I can
What did we allow
Contact
you to spend, 10,000?
I can go up to 15 on the purchasing policy. So if it goes over 15, I need to come back to you, but would you be okay with that?
Yeah,
How long is your auction going for you?
It's got 10 days.
10 days.
So it'll be done before the next board meeting, but if I need to, I can contact.
Okay.
What's something like that costing you? I have no
Well,
idea.
I contacted Jackson, she hasn't got back with me as to see what we paid for a brand new one, because they bought a brand new one, pretty much the same thing. I think it's a 500-gallon tank, and then it's got pumps and sprayers and all that on it, but it's really just a trailer. Online it looks good, but
Where's it at?
Lake Odessa,
Oh, that's not that far.
No,
so.
100 miles.
But I think,
One of our drivers actually brought it to my attention this morning, and I was like, that's something, it's a small piece of equipment, I can't, I can't imagine it's going too high, but you never know on those auctions, so.
I don't think it'll break 15.
Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on it,
Who's
and,
bidding against you?
Yeah, who wants to work?
other than that, that's all I got.
Okay, we gotta vote on the motion to allow Bob to purchase that boom truck. I think we had a motion and a second.
Mike
Okay.
seconded.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
There you
Motion
go,
carried.
get her.
There you go.
The only
Okay.
the only thing I've got, at Hillsdale Township meeting, I had a resident, I was amiss in not getting her name, but she said on Bacon Road, just west of Meadow, the pavement, new pavement lines are crooked
On bacon.
on Bacon. That's what she told me, Bacon Road, just west of Meadow, pavement lines are crooked, so I haven't seen them.
She don't have to follow
I didn't ask, I didn't ask if
That's
she'd
true.
I didn't ask if she'd been drinking or anything like that.
Ah.
All I know is I wrote it down.
I will have that checked, because if they did it wrong, they can go back and redo it, and,
Yeah. That's what I thought.
and from time to time, they do get off, you know.
Well, you
so-
know, there might have been a dog run out in front of them or a coon or something.
Well, at least they didn't paint over the coon.
Yeah, that's the best way.
I hate that. Alright,
Alright, now, old business. You wanna explain the township?
alright, so I guess I need to cover the township,
That's true. Do you want this in
yeah,
front of you?
I've got my whole package here.
the reasoning in the township bills for Litchfield on Sterling Road. So basically where we came up with that, we went well over the original estimate. And then, well, in that, two of the township board members did a ride along and asked to do the extra work. It was totally my fault for not making sure a second contract was done to expand on that original one, even though it does say, actual costs incurred. But to me, this is not just an adjustment, it's a lot of extra work that went into it, and a lot of extra money. They should have had a new contract. But when it comes down to it, there was a lot of work in there, well, I guess the backstory is the township came to us and said, hey, this is like way more than what you estimated, and I agreed. And they agreed that it's because they asked for the extra work. We all kind of understand that whole thing, it's just a lot that got added on. And some of it, for my explanation of it is, some of it was like getting double work. We did a lot of work, and then for other reasons we had to stop, and even throughout the year, or throughout the winter, we had to stop and we had to come back, and so then we had to redig and redo certain things that we'd already done, they already paid for the first time. And if we didn't have to go back and redo it, they wouldn't be added to this. So I think that's where a significant amount of this adjustment comes from. We had a meeting with them, their township board came in, I believe it was Commissioner Perney and Chairman Godfrey met with them, and we talked about why it happened, how it happened, and, you know, the background of it with everybody. And we kind of came up with, they would agree to, if we adjusted some of these and put it under maintenance, because some of this extra digging could easily have been done under routine maintenance. And they would agree to pay for these three contracts, which was $32,000 for the first half mile, and then $50,000 for each mile after that. I personally think it's a fair adjustment that we can do. It's not the first time we've adjusted for townships. We've adjusted quite a few since I've been here, that, you know, it's just like, hey, this isn't quite fair, or isn't quite kosher the way it happened, and we think it ought to, you know, we'll take care of this or we'll take care of that. I mean,
Do you think we'll have any problems with any of the other townships, seeing that we've done this and then they come in and want
We've done
theirs?
this with a lot.
well, and that's where I said we've adjusted for, and I don't want to call them out, but we've adjusted for quite a few townships on their own on different projects. That
Right.
It's
not
really-
every project, or not every township, and some townships don't do enough to even
Right,
worry about an adjustment. because they just don't have the money.
It
But if
don't-
it comes to it, I think we need to treat everybody the same. If there's things that we can try to start doing and should be doing under maintenance or not charging